Hello, and welcome to Global Wellness for All podcasts. My name is Laleh Hancock, and I'm going to be your host every week, every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Lisbon time, as we do this journey and adventure of wellness in all parts of our lives. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Global Wellness for All podcasts. My name is Laleh Hancock. I'm your host. And for today's show, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Instead of interviewing someone else, I wanted to have a conversation with you. And it's interesting. We just celebrated Mother's Day in the US. I know it's going to be different days in South America and in Europe coming up. And what it actually opened up was doors to explore not just parenting of children, but also our animals. We are parents of our businesses and our finances. So parenting goes way beyond, I think, what most of us have defined as parenting. And one of the things that it actually brought up for me is in this particular life, I have two incredible daughters who are now young ladies. And when I look back to my pregnancy and I look at the adventures that started then into today, it's incredible. And I think sometimes as parents, we're so busy doing and making sure the household is taken care of, the families are taken care of, our jobs are taken care of, that we forget to actually take some moments to explore the path and the journeys that we've taken to bring us to where we are today and to actually celebrate them. Like I look at when I found out I was pregnant, we had just bought a brand new house that we were custom building. We had just bought a dog, a Doberman, purebred. And the last thing I was thinking about was being pregnant. And with the news, we moved into the house. And within hours of being in this new house, we then found out I'm having twins. So, as you can imagine, it was one of those, at the time, I would have said to you, one of the most scariest moments of my life. And when I found out, I cried because all I could think about was two of everything, two bassinets, two cribs, two car seats, two babies who are going to be screaming at the same time. And I recall having the conversation with my husband at the time, and he was so calm. He was like, we're going to be able to handle this. And at the time, I really had no idea what I could handle. And I look at the last, 26 years of my kids' lives, and it's been the same thing. We never know what we can handle until we're in that situation, until we actually are given that space to get out of our head and start really tapping into what we know and start experimenting. Because a lot of times you will not know until you try different things. Now, you can ask questions, you can tap into the energy of things, you can explore it from different angles, but you really will never know until you choose it. And I recall that first day when I was having the sonogram and realized it was two was the day that I freaked out. And then I went to bed, and the next morning I really woke up energized, excited, really ready to explore this adventure of what was growing inside me. And I have to say, I had, most people back then thought, twins was a high risk. And so there was a lot of things that we took into consideration. But I had a great pregnancy, incredible pregnancy. And the delivery was 7 hours. So probably less than what most people do with one child. And when I look at those moments of my life, they were definitely difficult moments. There were definitely moments they were screaming and I didn't know what else to do. But when you look at it again, What is it that you're capable of that you really don't know until you're in that situation? And looking at the journeys of their lives. And as parents, whether you're a mother, a father, a grandmother, and our roles have been predetermined, but they don't have to be. What if you didn't have to have the same rules your parents had about childhood? One of the things that I realized for me is I got divorced from their father when they were less than two and really had to do things different. Now, him and I got along really well. We did joint parenting where possible. But one of the things that I realized is for me, I wanted to include my children in everything. So if we're about to go out on a Saturday, we're going to run errands, I would actually let them know, guys, this is our plan for today. We're going to do this. Now, they were less than two. And most people thought I was super crazy for even telling my kids what we're going to do, because to them, you just drag them along. But one thing I realized is the more I engaged with my kids, the more they were aware. We also knew when they had enough. There was this engagement between us, this conversation that was energetic. Because back then, my kids didn't speak verbally much. In terms of words, they were more grunting. They had this twin talk until they were 3.5, but it was a combination of words and body language and this grunting. And as crazy as it sounds, we could totally understand that. We knew exactly what they required. And it was also this communication of them knowing I'm here. And I knew those moments of like, you know what? We cannot do one more errand because they're about to freak out and they need to have their calm time. And so it's this languaging that you get to establish with your children. Now, the same thing though with your business, the same thing with your employees, the same thing with your family. It's like when you start really looking at things beyond what your job and your role are in the family or at work, and really create what's going to work for you. Now, it doesn't mean you don't compromise, and there's moments that you're going to do things, you're going to go places that you didn't want to do. Because you've got to ask, if I choose this, what future does it create? And for me personally, I was supposed to be in Italy about 2, 3 weeks ago, and it just wasn't light. And what does that mean? It means just like when I would ask, if I choose this, what will my life and the world be like in 5 years? It just was this like funny, like cramping, like in my stomach. And when I asked, okay, where can I go that will contribute to a greater future? Where can I go and contribute to others? What was pulling me was actually coming to the US. And at the time, my sister had sold her house. It's a very large house, and she required some assistance as well. And when I looked at the things that I had to do in Italy and the things that I could do in the US, wow, the energy was so much lighter in the US, even though logically it didn't make a lot of sense, other than the emotions of it, being there to support my sister and her move and some of the strategic decisions they had to make and things that had to be created. But when I looked at it, really looking at the future it creates was very different. And in the past, I wouldn't say that I would even talk to it from this language. I would say to you that I would ask questions. I would look at what I really wanted to create. Like, for example, I'm a note taker. And even though I do a lot of note taking on my computer, I personally like to handwrite. And I've found that I do really well with some pretty paper or, markers. And I might not draw, but I'm creatively bringing that information onto the piece of paper. So find also what works for you. What are moments that you really can explore, not just adding things into your life, but as you're making some choices in your life, like which one's actually going to create greater for you. And I would say to you, the last 3 weeks being in the US have been probably some of the most amazing moments, even though there were a lot of long hours, working hard, packing, talking to different clients, dealing with different things. It brought a whole new world of a creationship with different people in my family. Got to stay with my cousin and his wife and son, and it just was, being away the last 3 years, pretty much from the U.S., has been really amazing. Like to rekindle not just the way things were, but this new possibility, this new engagement that's there for me and my family. And it also created greater because I ended up meeting with different people. I got to meet this amazing woman whose son wrote this really cute book, and she is at the embassy of the Czech Republic. And I got to go there in DC. I got to meet some people that you're going to meet on this podcast in the next episodes to come. Just stories of change, stories of miracles, and all of it from really that question of asking. Like, for example, I'll tell you guys, over 10 years ago, I found these tools called Access Consciousness, and I found them in a really interesting way. A friend contacted me and said, "Can I come gift you something for your birthday?" And I was like, yes, so much stress was going on in my life at the time. Business was booming. My husband's business was doing well. My girls were doing amazing with their track and going into championships. And one of the things that opened up the door for me for was this thing called the Access Bars, which you guys will hear on other episodes as well. And then Foundation. Foundation is this 4 days of very much a conversation and tools. Oh my gosh, tools about everything: relationships, money, your career, your health, your family. Like it really kind of covers every aspect of the foundation of you and your life the way it is today. And what it does is breaks the foundation. Foundations are usually concrete. There's things that we've made so solid, and allows you to actually create what you would like the foundation of your life to be. And not all of it is cognitive, but with this class, it opened so much. I actually think I became a better parent after this class because I remember learning the tool of allowance, allowing your kids to be them, not to make them be you, which that's something I never really did. Since two, we would always have conversations, and the girls really always had a lot of choices. But what it did is it actually did open up the door for me to really look at empowering the girls differently. And what's funny is I ended up actually missing the girls' county championship race to go to this class. And before, I had canceled this class because they went into championships. So one of the things that opened the door is that moment that you choose for you. It doesn't mean you're choosing against people. And I know that in the past, for us to actually achieve that, we were fighting as teenagers against our parents. We were fighting for me to do this, I have to rebel. And that's what we've really learned is choosing for us. But what if it's not? What if that's actually resisting and reacting, which creates a whole lot of mess of other stuff? But when you're neutral, you're not doing it to go against someone. You're not doing it for any reason other than, you know what? It's going to expand your life, your joy, your living. And by you allowing you to be that leader, the leader of your life who's willing to choose that, what you do is you expand your whole life and living, which means you get to expand that energy for your family, your friends, your clients, your business. And as it expands, they don't have to, but now they have all these choices, these possibilities. Maybe that expansion opened the door for them to actually have more creativity, more ideas for what's going to work for them. And it also assists in having more allowance for you, allowing you to be you. allowing them to be them. And and I do have actually a class that I'm going to be facilitating, a foundation coming up in a few weeks. So we'll leave some information here if that's something that might resonate for you as well. But all of these choices have brought me to where I am today. All the choices you have made your whole entire life, so many you don't even know of, like six, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, I discovered a choice that I made the day of my wedding when my brother-in-law walked me down the aisle. Like there's such fast, energetic movements of choices that a lot of times we don't know what we've chosen. But now you are here. So, what is it that you would like to add to your life and living? What is it that you would like to create? It could be a business. It could be just having ease waking up every morning. It could be having no more pain in your body. Like it doesn't have to be anything that anyone else is asking of you. But if you were to explore your life in 5 years or in 10 years, what would you like to have your life be like? Like those energies, those sensations, like walking in the door and just feeling so nurtured in your house. Like, what are these things that you would like to have? And what choices can you make today to plant the seeds that allows that future to actually get created, get actualized? I as you guys know, I love business. I'd say I love commerce and that engagement with people, with businesses, with governments, with the lands. And with it, also, I'm a facilitator, a certified facilitator of conscious vagina, foundation, all sorts of things with access consciousness. And one of those things for me is also this building that is being built currently in Dubai, where we'll have our wellness center there. Global Wellness for All Center will be there. Might have a different name. We're still playing with it. But all of this came about by the willingness to ask. And sometimes when we ask, we get this huge idea of something that we want to create. And it's so easy to say, oh, that can't happen because of where you are today. But what if it can? What if all of this is about us knowing that as long as you can actually explore it in your head, as long as you can perceive it, it is possible. But the difference is you have to be willing to just explore it, play with it, engage it, and then ask questions, then explore who you can partner with. For me personally, I cannot do one thing. And that's why, as you guys notice, these podcasts, they're not the same every single week. I might interview people, I might do it like I'm doing it today. You might get a 4 minute kind of a power boost of a business hack. It's because I'm that kind of person. I like to have variety in my life. And I love contributing to businesses. I love businesses going from the idea to actually being actualized. And then when things aren't working, I like to assist people in being empowered to change what's not working and create something greater. So, what is that for you? Because so often, even as parenthood, we make it that it has to look one way. What if your style in business, your style in your relationship, your style with your money, your style as parenting is so unique, but it can only work for you. It can only work for you and your family. It can only work for you and your business. Like, what if it didn't have to be what everyone else is doing, what everyone else is choosing? Because sometimes it's hard. We put it into like, I have to do it the way my mom did it, my sisters did it, the way that my, you know, previous boss did it or whatever. But then you have to cut out you and your uniqueness and the gift that you bring into the world by being you. So I invite you guys, just take out a sheet of paper or take out your computer. If you were truly being you, what would you choose today? What would you like your life to be like today? What would you like your finances to be like in 5 years? What would you like the world to be like? Because as each of us asks questions, we're expanding the universe. We're expanding possibilities. We're expanding businesses. But you're also expanding not just for you. By you saying it, it's now an energy. Some people say it's a prayer into the world. Some people say it's an energy into the universe. Go with whatever works for you. By you just exploring that, it's now available. Now, the same thing when you judge when you make yourself be wrong, when you're judging others, that's what you're also throwing out there as a prayer or as an energy into the universe. So also be aware of what you're thinking, what you're saying. And when you say, I don't have something, that's what you're also putting out there. So, what if for today, you can start with what would I like to add to my life and living? And what would I like the world to be like? And what can I be or do different today to contribute to that physically actualizing? Because you are so much more than the name you have, the city you live in, the jobs you have, the responsibilities you have at home. You are so much more than that. So now, how can you utilize that gift that you are, the special uniqueness that you are, even all those things that you think are your, not good qualities? What if everything about you, the totality of you, is what the world requires? And when we start being grateful instead of that energy of judgment, it's amazing what else we can allow to exist. Even miracles. Miracles cannot exist when you're judging you or judging the world. The miracles come because it's different frequency. It's more at the frequency of joy and gratitude. So, what can you choose today to be grateful for you? Maybe one thing, maybe it's the way you smile. Maybe it's the way you hug people. Maybe it's the way that you cook your favorite meal, whatever it is. What can you be grateful for today that is about being grateful for you? And then grateful for others, because you got to start with you. Awesome. Well, everyone, I'm so grateful you guys were here today. And I wonder what futures we put out into the world that are now available for others to choose as well. And I love hearing from you guys. We get to hear from you guys. All you have to do is put a note in. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can put a comment there, but otherwise you can message us at info@globalwellnessforall.com. Let us know also what topics would you like to hear about? And would you be willing to also expand and share it with others who could benefit from this show or any of the other shows? So until next time, so grateful for you, and what grand and glorious adventures can you have today? See you soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for being here with us, whether you were listening or watching. We are so grateful for you, and we need your help. We would love to spread the seeds of wellness all around the world. Will you assist us? You can subscribe below. You can subscribe in Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. We are everywhere. And we ask, would you be willing to actually spread this to others that you may know who can actually be contributed with the tools and resources to bring more wellness into their life and into their bodies?